Yeah, even the judges.
Even the analyzer. Hershey's face. Oh. What? Oh my god. Probably would give this to NME if he wouldn't have all these mixing problems, but it's hard to ignore.
To the bass trap dude again.
Yo, what's up my current and future beatboxers? Welcome back to another analysis video with your boy Madox. I asked you guys on my community page which battle I should analyze next, and you voted for NME versus Brez. Let's not waste any time and go directly into the comment section of the video.
Let's read some comments.
Madox, I like your background. Well, it's green, but thank you. Joke, by the way. Me when my sister's angry and I don't care.
These haters love me.
Man of culture. Here for Beatbox Analysis. By the way, someone give this guy a badge that says world's best pantomime player. Even BBK was really impressed. Yeah, that's probably his Italian roots, I don't know. How many here for Madox Analysis? Hi. But believe me, he's insane beatboxer and will fly high and will never fall down. Wow. Who can guess all the references in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 songs. That's crazy. Man of culture. 424, sound guy had to let the panel go because he burned himself from all the fire. One little thing though, that's not a sound guy, that's Hershey, bro. Do your research. 159, Brez, you wanna fuck with me, bro? MB14, hell yeah.
So heavy, you wanna fuck with me, bro? Nah.
Man of culture. 229, me when I'm not getting man of culture. Man of culture. 517, when you get person of culture but you don't know you should be happy or sad because your gender is questioned. Oh, I mean, we have woman of culture and man of culture. If you can't really identify with any of those, then of course you can get a person of culture. Me trying to sleep in the summer. The mosquitoes. That's a funny one. Man of culture. Madox, last time I tried to get a man of culture, but I didn't. Me at 228. Oh man, I'm really sorry. Man of culture. Me when I unexpectedly get a title, man of culture. Let me check that. Man of culture. Brez killed NME on my judgment. I'm right with you. Crowd was woke because of Brez, 100%. Was it really like that? Wow, even NME was texting here. This was the first battle of the night. We were so hyped. Big up to Brez, he's so sick. Edit, finally analyzing this, Conrad. Psh, bro, don't use my real name, man. Spoiler alert for next Madox Analysis. According to him, NME is the winner. Wow. First of all, man of culture for being so brave. And second,
Let me analyze that.
alright, let's start with Brez first round.
3 minutes on Brez, I say the trois, you say the dun, ladies and gentlemen, trois!
Beatbox. Beautiful inward snare. So much flow.
So letting your book. Just wanna be GRE80. Fuck anybody who goes against me. They have to make a list. mixed up what it beat is just so heavy. You wanna fuck with me, bro? Nah, no one can mess with the flow. I'm gonna show you some more, cause I'm taking the lead on the score. It's BRBC, it's not, ayy. Stirring the mix in the pot, ayy. What's trying to pull it a shot, yeah? Taking my pace in the spot, bitch. Everybody put your hands up. Everybody put your hands up. Yeah, even the judges. Everybody put your hands up. Yeah.
Even the analyzer.
Yeah, break it out like this. All these haters love me. Acting like you know me.
Stage control.
Until this money show. Yeah, nah, they never let me go. All these haters love me. Talking like you know me. Yeah. Until this money show. Yeah, nah, they never let me go.
Oh. Damn. Swag and flow the whole round. All right. So right away, I need to give props to Brez. He has so much flow in both his beats, his lyrics. There's so much stage presence, so much control over the crowd. And the mix of his beat is really, really sick. So let's look into the details. So right away in the beginning, what I don't really like when loopers do that is the hi-hat has a little bit too much bass. So I understand that it will make the process a little bit more complicated if you put an EQ on your hi-hat. But at the end of the day, the mix will sound cleaner. Or what I realized that also could work is that instead of the t hi-hat, you make a. So the difference is when you do you breathe out a lot of air, and this air is causing bass frequencies that you don't want to have on a hi-hat. When you do, which is created with tongue pressure on your teeth, with this one you don't actually breathe out air, and therefore there will be less bass on your microphone. But the good thing though is later on, when he introduces the kicks, snare and the bass line, it's not a big problem anymore. And I really have to say the way he was mixing his kick and his snare are really, really solid. Especially the kick sounds really, really nice. I think he was boosting the lows and maybe cutting some of the highs. For example, on the EDM beat, you would need to have the highs so that the kick is in the front of your beat. But in a hip-hop beat, you don't need as much presence in the kick. You need more of the punch in the subs. And he was mixing it really well. I really like it. Then he came in with this melody. I think he was creating it with a delay. I'm not too experienced on the loop station, I have to say. Talking about building up the beat, I think when he was recording this vocal sample, for my taste he was wasting a little bit too much time here. But the whole beat itself sounded really, really sick. And I really like how present the bass is. It's kind of like a carpet of sound. But at the same time, it's not interfering too much with his voice, with the beat, or with the melody. And then after he was finished building the beat, his main focus was the rap parts. And man, he has so much flow. It's really, really sick. I really love his rap parts.
Changing my flows, I'm offers, I'm loving my bro, I'm offers, I'm hating nobody, you know when I promise I'll let it your book. Just wanna be GRE80.
Then after his first rap verse, he did a really unusual thing, at least for Beatbox Looper. He left his loop station to go to the front of the stage and connect with the judges and the crowd directly.
Everybody put your hands up. Everybody put your hands up now. Even the judges. Everybody put your hands up.
And I think this was a really, really sick performance element to prove that he has control over the stage. Also, the distortion on the melodical part is just really, really sick. I really love the sound of it. Also, the ending when he was pitching up the melody and activated the hi-hat roll. That was a really simple way to change the beat, but really effective. So overall, Brez first round was really sick flow, really sick beat, crazy rap vocals. The only thing that was missing was kind of like a battle move at the end, for example. He had a lot of time left at the end of his round, so maybe here he could put something in that is really unexpected to change the vibe of the beat or make it even heavier, or just do something creative that is unexpected for both the judges and the audience.
Let me analyze that.
Let's go on with NME's first round.
3 minutes on enemy. I said 3, you said do it in the uno. Pray!
Hershey's face.
I ponder of something great, my lungs will feel and then deflate. They fill with fire, exhale desire. I know it's down my time today. I have this thought so often I ought to replace that slot with one I was bought, cause somebody stole my car radio and now we'll just sit in silence. But you know, sometimes quiet is violent. I find it hard to have my violence know. Hunger inside is on my sleeve, my skin was scream, reminding me of who I killed inside my dream. I hit this scar that I'm drumming, no hiding from me. I'm forced to see with what I feel. There is no distraction to mess with this wheel. I can pull my steering wheel. I have this thought so often I ought to replace that lamp with one I was bought, cause somebody stole my car radio and now we'll just sit in silence. Silence. Thank you.
And that's time.
Aight. That was NME's first round. So right away, my first impression of NME's first round is his composition is a little bit more dynamic than Brez one's, but he had a lot of mixing issues in his round. Let's get into the details. He started with the arpeggio at the beginning of his round, and this was a really sick one. Not only the melody of it is really cool, but also how he's shaping the sound. Also the way he recorded his drums is really sick. With pre-recording every drum sound on his Chaos pad, he made sure that every kick and every snare has the same volume and the same texture. Then afterwards he recorded his choir melodies, and I think they were way too loud on the microphone. especially on the second layer when he's hitting the higher notes, it feels distorted. Also thinking about that these voices are not the lead vocals, they're way too much in the front of the mix. Then afterwards he recorded the bass line, and just the texture of this bass line, I'm not a big fan of this. It sounds really muddy and the melody of it isn't clear. What I really like about NME's performance here is that he's really creative in recording his sounds. Just the way he was recording his harmonies right here is a really sick performance element. And then he went in with the lead vocals, and because the instrumental was already so loud, it was really hard to fight against the instrumental.
I wonder of something great, my lungs will feel and then deflate, they feel with fire, exhale desire, I know it's down my time today.
So I would definitely recommend to turn down the instrumental, especially these choir voices. They're way too much in the front and way too present.
Sometimes pride is violent, I find it hard to have my pride is low, like a beside is on my sleep, my skin was screaming.
I also think he had to turn up the volume of his microphone, and I can tell it's clipping while he's performing his lead vocals. So I think the lead vocal part is really sick. He has a really catchy voice, but it's really hard to enjoy because the instrumental is too loud and the microphone is clipping all the way. Then after this vocal part, after a build up, he went into a drop where he was pitching up the melody. And I have to say, I'm not a big fan of this pitched up sound. It's a really cheap sounding effect for my ears. But other than that, the drop idea is really sick. Also, the way he was playing around with the transpose effect was really nice. Then he went back into the verse. And again here, I think it would be way better if the instrumental would be more silent.
I have this not so up in a yard to rip it, that's not with one of us like this, somebody stole my car.
And especially in an outro after such a drop, you can make it more settled to bring the audience back home. Also, I have to say he had a lot of time left on the timer. But Brez was ending his round too early too, so I guess that's fine. So comparing NME's and Brez first round, I have to say Brez mix was way better. Just the quality of his beat, the way his lead vocal sounding, and also the effects that he used sounded way better. For example, when I compare the pitched up sound of NME and the distorted sound of Brez one sounded way better. On the other hand, NME's composition was way more dynamic, and also the way he was building up his beat with the arpeggios and stuff was a bit more creative. So I would say it's a hard decision right here to make. My personal opinion is that NME just had way too much mixing problems in his first round. So I would give the first round to Brez.
Let me analyze that.
Let's check out Brez's second round.
Brez from France. I say the toi, you say the deux, toi.
Beatbox. Oh my gosh, it's so sick.
Put your hands up. Slow down. Grab the wall. Wiggle like you're trying to make it dance. Hey, hell, I think I wanna smash them up now. Speed up.
Ah, shit, it's so good.
I said my homies don't dance, just pull up the pants and now do the rock and wave, yeah. Lean back, everybody lean back. Lean back, everybody lean back, yo. I said my homies don't dance, just pull up the pants and now do the rock and wave, yeah. Lean back, lean back, lean back, motherfucker, lean back,
Yo, hey yo, 369, damn she fine. I hope she can suck it to me one more time. Get low,
What a mashup.
get low, get low, get low, yo. Hey yo, 369, damn she fine. I hope she can suck it to me one more time. Get low.
The switch wasn't that good. Woo! Shakers. Sick. Such a poser, but he's sick. He deserves it. Wow, so I have to say in Brez's second round, he improved his dynamics in his composition. He again had really sick vocal parts in it, and now he also had a sick drop at the end that was really unexpected. So again, he started with a pretty similar beat with a slightly different groove. Again, he had this hi-hat, which I'm not a big fan of, but also here the mixing problem with the hi-hat isn't that noticeable anymore in the mix later. What I really have to say is that I love his snare right here. Just the texture of his inward snare is really, really sick, and it really fits to the hip-hop vibe. And I also really like these percussions in between, these ash, 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 ash. Really supports the flow of this beat. Then he recorded this melody that sounds really, really swaggy. And in the very moment when he started to perform his rap lyrics, man, I just got goosebumps. It's so sick.
Yeah, yo, Asima, GDB, put your hands up, Asima, GDB, put your hands up, Asima, slow down. Grab the wall, wiggle like you're trying to make a Brez fall off, hey.
Also the way he switched his voice. The first voice already sounded really sick, and then the second one was really authentic too.
Hey yo, 369, damn she fine. I hope she can suck it to me one more time. Get low, get low, get low.
The only problem I had was that after the lyrical part, the transition into the synthesizer part wasn't that smooth.
Get low.
Then he came in with the shakers, and these shakers really remind me of some 80s hip-hop. It sounds really, really sick. Oh my gosh, this drop was so unexpected. It was so sick. The shuffled synthesizer is really simple, but the flow of it, man, it's so sick. Also, the texture of the sound is really nasty. And then for the end of his drop, he changed the shape of his synthesizer and reintroduced the shakers. And I have to say, this part of the beat was a little bit too messy for me. But still, it had a really, really sick energy inside. So yeah, again, Brez was really flawless in his second round. His flow was really sick. This round was also more dynamic with this crazy drop. And except the ending part, his mix was really, really on point.
Let me analyze that.
So let's go on with NME's second round.
I say the tre, you say the due and the uno. Tre!
Due, uno, beatbox.
you can see we're together, both online and live, yeah. When we're doing our thing, nothing matters. We're beatboxing all the time, yeah. When we have for the future and the goals inside, just let me sit for the record. Oh, we're giving love in a family dove.
That's so sick.
Seven, 8.
Oh my god.
And that's time.
Yo, that's Scott Jackson's job, bro. So my first impression is that NME's mix didn't sound as messy as in the first round, and I also liked the sound design of the drop more than from the first round. So NME started right away with the bass line. I'm not sure what it is, but it sounds always so unclean when he used the guitar to bass effect, I guess. He needs to find a different way to create bass lines. Then he started to record the drums, and I really like the snare and the hi-hats, but his kick is missing low and there's just mids and highs and no bass. Then he continued with recording the harmonies, and they're really on point. It's really, really sick. I like the texture of his voice as well as the chords that he created there. Then when he started with the lead vocals, I just couldn't help myself because that was so unexpected. I didn't think that he would bring a cover like that.
We are family. I got all beatboxers with me.
And also the way he was changing the lyrics so it fits to the event was really, really sick. It was a really nice idea. I'm just not sure what he does different than other loopers, but his mixes are always sounded so distorted.
We are family.
Maybe the input gain of his microphone is just way too high, but especially a combination of his harmonies and his lead vocals, it just sounded way too distorted. But the vibe of the beat is really, really sick and uplifting.
All the time you can see we're together, both online and live.
Then after the first beat drop, he went into a bridge, and I'm not a big fan of the lyrics here because especially the parts he was singing in his head voice don't really sound authentic. Also at some points his lyrical parts were really inconsistent.
Yeah, when we have for the future and the goals inside.
But then the breakdown after it with this really strange voice was really, really sick. I really loved it. Also the way he uses the vocoder. Was a really, really nice and effective way. Then he went into the last drop and the synthesizer sound was really, really cool. But again, as I mentioned, I'm missing low end in the kick, and especially if you do an EDM drop like that, you need that low end in your kick.
7, 8.
Last move he did with the 7-8 was really, really funny. That was a really sick performance element to please the audience. Alright, so let's sum it up. NME versus Brez in the second round. Again, Brez was way better with his mix. NME had less problems in his mix this time, but he still wasn't close to Brez. On the other hand, NME's performance was more dynamic than Brez once. He had really funny elements like this breakdown, as well as really emotional moments with the We Are Family cover. Brez wasn't as far away this time from NME talking about dynamics, because this time he had a similar energy like in the first round, but then additionally he had this crazy trap drop at the end of his round. Some people might would say NME showed way better singing skills in his rounds, but to these people I have to say Brez had really sick rap parts with a lot of flow and a sick voice. So I would say talking about vocals, they're pretty even. So for me, making a decision right here is actually really hard. Probably would give this to NME if he wouldn't have all these mixing problems, but it's hard to ignore. Brez wasn't that dynamic in the first round, but in the second round it was just a really sick round with good dynamics, sick flow and sick mixing. So ultimately, and guys, this is just my personal opinion, I think Brez would be the winner for me. I personally think mixing is a really important element in loop station battles, so that's why if I would have been a judge, I probably would vote for Brez. But again guys, this is just my personal opinion, no controversies here. I can understand if judges would vote for NME because his performance was really sick. So let's check out how the judges actually voted.
Judges, this side is going to be for NME, that side is for Brez. Moving on to the next round, 2019 Grand Beatbox Battle. In 3,
Alright, so MB14, Tom Thumb and Beatbox were voting for NME. Sam Perry and Beardy Man were voting for Brez, so it was actually really close.
give it up for NME!
Damn.
But keep showing love for Brez. Give it up, come on.
Yeah, so like I said, really tough decision to make here. And like you could see, not even the judges could agree with each other. Alright guys, that's it with this analysis. Quick and easy. If you enjoy my content, please like the video, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. Also, if you want to rewatch any of my live streams, click the join button to join my membership program. That's it for today. See you in the next video.